teach you Unit 7 Prose on Saying Please, written by A.G. Gardiner. So here in this lesson that we have to use some words in our life like please, sorry, thanks, that values more children in our life. We should use this type of words in our daily life. He may be any person stood in front of us, maybe servant, maybe officer, maybe anyone, but we should be use these words to them also. We should not say he is doing his duty. Maybe he did his duty, but we should be thankful to them and we should say one word, thank you. Please, this type of words, it is more impressive on that person. So here, this lesson is written by A.G. Gardiner. Here, warm-up activity is there. Here, they gave one list in page number 127, children. Open page number 127. And here, one activity given. First, A side and B side, we have to match. Here is a list of actions in column A and reactions in column B. We have to match. Here A side they give the action and B side it's a reaction. We have to match A side to B side. So here people standing in a queue. People standing in a queue. How you should behave in that time? If you stood in any one queue means how you should behave, whether you have to push who stood in front of you or you should give trouble to who stood in front of you. How you should behave when you stood in a queue for anything, maybe in theatre, maybe in mall, whatever it may be. If you stood in a queue, how you should behave with other people who stood with you. Is it, children? Whether you have to push them, whether you have to make them to fall down, or you should stand neatly, how you should behave. So for this, they gave B side answer. That is, you take your place and wait for your turn. That is the manners. That you should wait for your turn and you should move little bit. Not to push or not to force anyone to move from that place. So, the manners is when you stood in a queue, you should wait for your turn. That is the manners. Next, you dash against someone. If you dash to anyone when you are going or coming anywhere, it will happen to all. Not that is actually intentionally no one is doing, but it will happen sometimes. That time what you should do? Whether you should go without caring that person or you should help them. What you should do in that time when you give dash to someone. That's the matter. That's the action. Happen. Not intentionally, but it happens. But that time what you should do? That you apologize saying sorry. You should say sorry to that person to whom you gave dash. Not to go simply. You should say sorry. And you should help them if anything is fall down from their hand. You should help them by giving that things and say sorry to them. This is the manners, children. We should cultivate all these type of things in our civilized culture. We should follow that one. We should not go simply giving dash and not to move from that place. We should help that person that anything happened to him or anything fall down of his things. We should help him and say sorry to that person. This is the reaction when you give dash to any person. Next, third one, parents is scolding you. See, it is common. Because if you did any mistake means parents will scold. That time what you should do? You should argue them. What should be your reaction? Or you should be angry and shout loudly? What is your reaction in that time? How you are behaving with your parents? This is also manners. How you are going to behave with your parents when they scold? If you did mistakes means they will scold definitely. Is it? If you did mistake means they will scold. That time what you should be your reaction? Whether you have to shout loudly Whether you should be angry on them, what the reaction of yours? See here, they gave here. You put forward your reasons in a polite manner. You should answer them politely why you did that mistake. If you want to say something about that topic means you should answer them politely. You convince them politely, not to shout or not to angry on your parents. Is it, children? Yes. Next, lastly, the person at the cash counter gives your change. See, when you are going to bank or post office means if you stood queue, when your turn will come, that time if they give cash or change for your cash, if you are in need of that one, if they gave to you means how you should behave, how you should show them manners, how you should talk to them without telling thanks also. You should not come out of that queue, is it? That time you should say thank you. This is a manners, one word that shows your culture, is it? So that time you say thank you. If anyone may help you. Maybe he is officer, maybe he is a servant, whatever it may be. But you should follow these type of words in your life. You should cultivate such a words. Thank you, sorry, please, excuse. This type of words, it's more impressive, children. You should always follow in your life. You should cultivate in your life. It shows your culture. This type of words that shows the culture. So you should follow this type of manners. About this manners only, here lesson written by A.G. Gardiner. One essay only he wrote about how we should behave. Which one is right? Which one is wrong? No one will tell you. If you didn't say thank you, no problem. You won't get any punishment for that. But it's a manners. You should show that one. That's very important, children. That there is no law that we should say please, sorry, thank you. No, there is no law for us. No one will punish us. If we didn't use that words, no one will punish us. But this is a culture we should follow. As civilized and educated society, we should follow such a type of words in our life that shows our culture. Is it? So, it's not a law, it's not a, no one will give punishment if you didn't say thank you or sorry, anything. No one will punish you, but it shows your behavior, how uncultured you are. If you didn't use these words, they will think how uncultured you are. So, about this one, written by A.G. Gardiner. Now, I will introduce A.G. Gardiner. Alfred George Gardiner. His full name, Alfred George Gardiner. Full name of A.G. Gardiner is Alfred George Gardiner, 1865 to 1946. He born on 1865 and died on 1946. Was a British journalist and author. He was a British author, writer, journalist. His essays written under the pen name. You know, children, so many writers they are using pen name, not their name they won't use. They will give one pen name for writing articles or any that essays or any books they wants to write means they wants to give pen name. So here, Alpha of the Flow, his pen name are highly regarded. Alpha of the Flow. This is the highly regarded. He was also chairman of the National Anti-Spitting League, a pressure group which campaigned for a minimum wage in industry. That there was a revolution happened, industrial revolution. That time they asked minimum wages, means salary payment for laborers, those are working in industry. That time he also become chairman of that committee. The essay on saying please opens with an instance of a young liftman in the city office who threw a passenger out of his lift from not saying the word please. See what happened here? This essay begins with a person, liftman, and one person. In a city office, there was a lift, and what happened, children? That person, he didn't say please to liftman, and he argued to say him. He demanded to say him please, but that person was not ready to say the liftman. What he did, that liftman threw that person out of the lift only. This is bad because we can't demand the respect. We can't command the respect from others. That they should give that respect. We can't demand to give respect to me. Is it? The latter wanted to go to the top floor of the building and he would not say top please. What that mistake? That person, passenger, he didn't say to liftman, he wants to go actually top floor, but he didn't say top please. He said only top. With that word, that liftman became very much angry and he threw that passenger out of the lift only. The act cost the liftman his job. See what happened? This is not the manners. If he didn't say please, this is the duty of liftman to take him to top floor. He should not argue to tell him please. That is the manners of that passenger. That depends upon the culture of that passenger. If he didn't say, no problem, but he should not throw that passenger out of the lift. So that time what happened, children? He lost the job. Gardiner then discussed the merits and demerits of the particular place and then in his usual manner moves on to discussion of politeness and its importance in the social life of a man. Gardiner, he studied about this case. Who is right here? Who is wrong? Whether liftman is right or passenger right? Who is wrong? That we should not command the respect. But here liftman did that one and he lost his job. About this one, this essay starts and it tells us how we should behave with others. How should we cultivate the manners in our daily life. So here, this is about Alfred George Gardiner. And now, I will give you the explanation line by line. Open page number 127. The young liftman in a city office who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning was fined for the offence was undoubtedly in the wrong. See what happened here, children? That liftman, he asked passenger to say please, but he said only top. So liftman became angry and he threw that passenger out of the lift. For that he was punished. He should pay the money for that one, fine. Here he got fine and he should put that fine that he threw a passenger out of the lift. So here, children, that offense means crime. He did a crime. That if the passenger didn't say, no problem. That it shows his culture. Why he should throw a passenger out of the lift? It's a bad behavior of that liftman. Offense means crime. He did a crime that he threw a person out of the lift. Yes, children, for that fine he has to pay the fine. That it was actually, doubtlessly, it was wrong to put a fine to liftman. It's a wrong. If passenger said please, means no problem. He may tell that one, but he didn't say. But this is also wrong, that the action taken by a liftman. It was a question of please. The complainant entering the lift said top. Complainant means one who complains. Complainant. means one who complains. That who, the which person that liftman threw, no, that person gave complaint. That he said only top. He didn't say please, top please. So what happened here, children? That complainant means the person who got punishment from the liftman. That person said that I said only top, I didn't say top please. The liftman demanded top please, and this concession being refused, he not only declined to comply with the instruction but hurled the passenger out of the lift. That time what happened? That passenger said only top. Top means he wants to go top floor. That he entered the lift and said to liftman top word only. That time what happened? The liftman demanded to say top please. But the passenger was not ready to say please. Then the liftman threw him out of the lift. This is wrong action of the liftman. This of course was carrying a comment on manner too far. Discourtesy is not a legal offense and it does not excuse assault. That discourtesy, that he didn't say please, but the liftman behavior was discourtesy. That it shows a discourtesy and assault. That assault means hitting. That he threw him, that passenger, out of the lift. This is not the manners of the liftman. He should be courteous about the passenger, but he demanded please, but that passenger not said please. And what happened, children? That he behaved very rudely with that passenger. If a burglar breaks into my house and I knock him down, the law will acquit me. And if I am physically assaulted, it will permit me to retaliate with reasonable violence. Fight back. Retaliate means fight back. Retaliate, fight back. That if any person came, if a burglar means person who is doing wrong thing, that thief, if he entered the house and if he started to assault, means if he wants to beat us, means that hit us, means that time what we should do? We may give fight back. We may also give him punishment. That's in the law also. That if anyone entered our house and they started to give punishment or hit to us, means that time we may fight back to them. There is a provision in law also. That's self-protection. For self-protection, we may fight back with that person. With reasonable violence. See, with a reasonable violence, we can't kill him. But if he came to kill us, means we may fight back. With a reasonable violence, we can fight with that person who entered our house without our permission. It does this because the burglar, my assailant, who have broken quite definite commands of law, but no legal system could attempt to legislate. Assailant means attacker. Who attacked on us, no? Return back, we may attack on them. We may fight back to them. Because to save ourselves, we should, self-protection is very important. That time, what happened, children? We may give fight back to them. Who entered our house and who started to assault us, means that time we may fight back to him for self-protection. This is also is there in the law. System could attempt to legislate against bad manners and could sanction the use of violence against something which does not itself recognize as legally punishable offense. See what happens here. We may fight back with a reasonable violence. We may hit him also. There is a provision in law for self-protection, but it should not be in a bad manners. We should not hit him in a bad manners, or we should not move forward to attack him physically very bad. And whatever our sympathy with the liftman we must admit that the law is reasonable. That if we want to sympathize that liftman, that there is no provision in law that we should say please, sorry, thank you. There is no rules in law that we should follow that one. That's our culture. That culture gives us that one, that we should be talk we should not talk, we should talk politely and we should use all these words. This shows our culture, but there is no rules that we should follow that one. There is in law, in no law, there is a words that we should compulsorily use, please, thank you, sorry, no. There is no such a words in law, but it is a culture. It shows our culture. It would never do if we were at a liberty to box people's ears because we did not like their behavior or the tone of their voices or scowl on their faces. See what happened here, children? That actually there is no law that we should use that one. But this is our manners we should talk. Maybe he is a lower income person, lower group people, whatever it may be, but we should behave properly with that person. Our fists should never be idle and the gutters of the city would run with blood all day. See what happens, children? If anyone not use please, thank you, sorry means if we started to fight with them means what will happen? That city gutters will flow with bloods only. Is it? There will be more violence. If anybody said sorry, if anybody not said sorry, please, thank you, this words means if we started to fight with each other means what will happen? That city gutters will flow with bloods, not with the waters. So that happens if we started to fight for this type of silly things. If we started to fight each other means that will happen. That city gutters will flow with bloods of the people only, because no one will keep quiet, no? If we started to fight means they will give fight back to us. Then what happens? So for these words there is no law that we should use that words. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. Revenge. Retaliation means revenge. Revenge. If you are not a civilized person, if you are not an educated person, if you not use that words means no one will punish you. In law, if you go to court or anything, court means that the law will be with you only, because there is no rules to say all this. They will think you are uncivilized person and they won't give any punishment to you. But who is taking revenge or who is fighting to you, no, that person will get the punishment for this. I may be haughty or boorish, and there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill-mannered fellow. See, boorish means rude. If you are not said these words, there will be no penalty in law for you. That who behave with you rudely, if that one is in written, that complaint is in written by police, that time you will get the punishment. That you behaved rudely, you are mannerless, that type is in written means then you will get the punishment. Otherwise you won't get any punishment. There is no provision in law to give the punishment to you guys. So this is the manners that you have to behave. If you behave rudely, if that one is in written, then only court will consider that one. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibility any more than it says that I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. See, this belongs to your own interest. The dyeing the hair. If white hair are miss, if we want to dye, you may dye, otherwise no problem. Is it, children? That if you wants to say please or you should be polite, there is no rules. There is no rules. You should always talk politely with the people. That it depends upon you. There is no law about this one. So, it does not recognize the laceration of our feelings as a case of compensation. A deep cut, that laceration, that you won't give any compensation to others. If you not said please, if you go to court means no use, there is no provision. You can't pay any penalty or you may no need to give compensation to that another person who went to court. There is no rules, such a type of rules. There is no allowance for moral intellectual damage in these matters. Because you can't show. Intellectual means mental harassment, mental insult. That if you felt insult, if you became angry, you can't say that one in words in front of the court. That mental harassment are moral values. We should cultivate such a type of moral values. But we can't blame others. We can't harass others that you should respect me. This is the moral values we should cultivate. But we can't demand that other person should give respect to me. That depends upon him. There is no provision in law that we may give compensation or penalty for that. This does not mean that the damage are negligible. See, this does not mean there is no law in the law provision is there means that we can't behave this type. That we can't neglect this one also. We feel somewhat bad that when anybody behaved with you rudely means that time we will feel bad, is it? That there is a mental harassment on us. We will feel sad that time moment. So, that we can't neglect that one. There is no provision in law means we can't behave rudely with others, impolitely with others. So, what will go if we use such a type of words? Please, thank you, sorry means what will happen? A simple words we have to cultivate that one. It is probable that the liftman was much more acutely hurt by what he regarded as slur upon his social standing than he would have been if he had a kick on his shines, for which he could have got a legal redress. Slur means insult. That liftman, he thought that it's an insult for him. So what he did, he threw that person out of the lift. Slur means insult. That if it doesn't mean that liftman doesn't mean that it's an insult to him, that he can't throw him out. But he felt it's an insult, that passenger is insulting me, he can't respect me means then he will become angry and he threw him out. But what happens here children, that it is a punishable offense done by liftman. That if that passenger not said please, okay, there is no provision in law. But this person, that liftman, he kicked him, that passenger, and threw him out, no, that is a punishable offense. The pain of a kick on the shine soon passes away, but the pain of the wound to our self-respect or our vanity may poison a whole day. Vanity means achievements. See what happens here children, that if that person, that liftman kicked to another passenger, that what it is somehow, that pain will go, passes away, or 2 or 3 days it will remain and afterwards it will passes away. But what happens children, that insult, that he hurted by that person, that he feels a lifelong. So, if there is a physical attack, the wound will heal. But it's an attack on mental of a person, it will remain lifelong. I can imagine that liftman denied the relief of throwing the author of his wound out of the lift, brooding over the insult by the hour and visiting it on his wife. Brooding means worried. What happens? That he threw the passenger out of the lift, but that he feels full day, he will be worried about that issue only he will be worried whole day. And when he will go to home, he will show that angry on his wife. Insult by the hour and visiting it on his wife in the evening as the only way of restoring his equilibrium. Equilibrium means balancing, that he wants to balance it. That person, passenger insulted and he threw the passenger out. That worry was whole day remained in him, and when he went to home, that he started to shout on his wife, because he wants to make that one balance. Insult, he wants to insult his wife, and he wants to make that one balance whatever he got morning. So equilibrium, balance, he wants to balance that one insult. For there are few things for catching than bad temper and bad manners. See, this is also very bad, that we should not be short tempered. That anything happen means we should think about that one. Then only we should take the decision. We should not be short tempered. That we should not take any decision when we are angry. So it is also very bad that we should not be tempered and we should not behave badly with others. When Sir Anthony Absolute billed Captain Absolute, the latter went out and billed the man Fag, whereupon Fag went out of downstairs and kicked the page boy. See, here also one instance they gave the example that of the Sir Anthony, that he inserted that pressure, he pressurized the one more person, and that pressure, that another person, he kicked the page boy downstairs. That on pressure only, pressure of this person, that who got pressure, no, that person, he kicked the page boy downstairs. Probably the man who said talk to the liftman was really only getting back on his employer who had not said good morning to him, because he himself had been henpecked at breakfast by his wife, to whom the cook had been insolent because the housemaid had answered her back. See, this will small things actually. Henpecked means female partner. That what happens when if morning wife not prepared the breakfast, he will come in bad mood to office. That if he said, if he wished, any employer not wished him good morning, that he will also, that time also he feel bad. Wife not prepared the breakfast and employer not wished him, that all remains in mind. So he may not said, please to lift man. Due to that circumstances, due to that pressure, he may not said, please to lift man. Is it, children? That all pressures, whatever we will have, we will feel bad that time, and we will forget all the mannering words, that we can't use that words. That if that housemaid means who is working in our house, no, if she gave return answer to us, that time also we will feel insult. Is it? That we are paying to her means he can't say give return answer. We won't expect return answer from that housemaid. It may happen morning, so he may be in the bad mood and he didn't say please to lift man. In fact, the world with all ill-humorous bad manners probably do more to poison the stream of the general life than all the crimes in the calendar. See what happens, children? If wife not prepared breakfast, if the housemaid woman she gave return answer, that it is one type of infectious diseases we are telling, no, it will come to one by one. That wife show is angry on her husband, that her husband came to office and he show his angry on the lift man, that it will continuous. So what we are doing, this ill manners we are showing from one to another. So we should avoid it. We should cultivate good manners, not this type of ill-humorous behavior. For one wife who gets a black eye from an otherwise good-natured husband, there are 100 who live a life of martyrdom under the shadow of a morose temper. See, Anyone may get a good wife or good husband, but all are not in the same manner. All housewives are a wife and husband, all not in the same way. That we should think about that. We should not be short tempered, or we should not be shout on her or him. So all are not equal in the society. All didn't have same type of nature. Some may be short tempered, some may be very cool. So we should behave properly. But all the same, the law cannot become the guardian of our private manners. This is a private manner. That how we should behave, that it is a private manners of us. That always law can't come in the middle, and it can't say you should use this word only, you should behave this type only, your tune should be in this manner only. No, law always not come in between. This is the private manners of us. No decalogue could cover the vast area of offences, and no court could administer a law which governed our social civilities, our speech, the tilt of our eyebrows, and all our moods and manners. See, no law can come always in the middle of our behavior. Our mood, it depends upon our mood. Our behavior depends upon our mood, that day mood, how it is. If it is good, we will be happy and we will behave properly with others. If we are in bad mood, we will not say any good words with others. We can't laugh with others. We can't enjoy that day. So that time law won't come in the middle of the life, daily life. This is a private manners. We should cultivate. We should be always try to be in good mood. That law can't come between always to say us that you should behave this type only. That depends upon person and his mood. But though we are bound to endorse the verdict against the liftman, most people will have a certain sympathy with him. See, some people say, yes, we should say that liftman is right, he did correct. That if he threw the passenger out, he is right. Some people, they may argue, but this is not right. We should not show violence on others. So, some may be on sympathy. With sympathy, they may say that liftman is right, but this is not right way. While it is true that there is no law that compels us to say please, there is a social practice much older and much more sacred than any law which enjoins us to be civil. Enjoins means encourage. That actually okay. It is not in a law to say the please, but we should behave. Enjoins means encourage. That our culture from so many lot of years that came one to another in society, there is a manners that tells us that we should behave. Okay, please we may not say that there is no law, but this is a culture that we should say please. Because in society we are living means we should behave properly with others. That people will watch us, how we are behaving, how we are talking to others. That shows our culture. That civilized society means we should behave properly. And the first requirement of civility is that we should acknowledge the service. That we should recognize someone's service. That he may be garbage, that who is coming morning corporation people, that to take the garbage. We should talk them neatly. She may be housemaid, that she is coming to clean our house and utensils. We should talk to her politely. That we should recognize their work. We should not be rude on them. They are the little courtesies by which we keep the machine of life oiled sweetly. These are things actually silly things these are, but we should cultivate these things. Then only our life will be happy whole day. They put our intercourse upon the basis of friendly cooperation and easy give and take instead of on the basis of superiors dictating to inferiors. We should not feel I am in high post and you are my servant. We should not talk rudely with that person. Maybe you are officer, okay, you learnt and you become officer, okay. He maybe have any problems, he is doing this servant work. Okay, but he is also earning whatever he learnt and he is also leading good life in society means we should respect them. We should respect them and we should not show that I am officer and we should not ill-treat the subordinates. It is a very vulgar mind that would wish to command where he can have a service of asking and have it with willingness and good feeling instead of resentment. That we should wish. If anybody came in front of us means we may say good morning, good evening, good night, no problem. But we can't demand that who is coming in front of us he should wish. No. It depends upon that person. We can't command or demand the respect from others. We may wish them. No problem. If he is officer, if he wished his employer means no problem. Servant, if he wishing means no problem. Next day he will wish him. Is it? That we should not think that I am officer, why I should wish? That person should wish me. We can't expect anything from others. I should like to feature in this connection my friend, the polite conductor. He wants to give one example about bus conductor. This discriminating title, I do not intend to suggest a rebuke to conductors generally. That rebuke means express sharp disapproval. He said only conductor. He was not ready to include all conductors. He is not ready to express a sharp disapproval about conductors. Due to pressure, they may be behave. So here, on the contrary, I am disposed to think that there are few classes of men who come through the ordeal of very trying calling better than bus conductors do. That we should ordeal means unpleasant experience. That we call them as bus conductor. And here and there you will meet an unpleasant specimen who regards the passenger as his natural enemies, as creatures whose purpose on the bus is to cheat him and who can only be kept reasonable honesty by a loud voice and aggressive manner. Aggressive means likely to attack. See some conductors you may see in bus also. That some are behaving very rudely, some are talking with passengers very rudely. That they may feel that they are the enemies of him. That he may talk politely to them. He may give ticket, he may collect the money properly. Why he should aggress you? Why he should talk rudely with that passenger? You may watch so many times you may see in bus also, city bus. Is it children? That he will very angry, he was in very pressure and he is talking very rudely with the passenger while taking the money, while giving the tickets. No, why he should behave? He may behave politely, no? That passengers are not enemies to him. Is it? But this type is rarer than it used to be. That whatever example he is now giving, no? That conductor is very rare. That such a type of persons are very rare in society. I fancy the public owes much to Underground Railway Company, which also runs the buses, for insisting on a certain standard of civility in its servants and taking care that the standard is observed. Insisting means demanding. That one, he is giving one example of one institution. That railway company, it also runs the buses. That they are insisting the conductors that they should behave properly with the passenger. They should be polite with the passengers. They should not behave rudely. They should not be angry on the passenger. That was the first condition of that institution. In the doing this is not only makes things pleasant for the travelling public but performs an important social service. That actually we feel that the social services. That company what it said to his conductors that they should be polite with the passenger. That morning, if people are coming by bus means they should be happy with them. That conductor behavior should be good. Then the only passenger will be happy with them and they will be in a good mood for next full to enjoy whole day. They will be happy. Is it? That was the first condition of that institution, that they should behave properly with the passenger of that bus. So, up to 5th paragraph, I finished it, children. In the next class, I will continue the lesson, read the lesson and try to understand the hard words. Thank you.